Okay, we're back with a story about Willie. Now, the only reasons that this young couple continues to be terrorized, and the only reason that Willie was severely beaten, was because God chose to give him a black skin color. And because he was married to my white sister. And now in 2020, it's been more than 40 years that they've been married. Their neighbors didn't like the fact that Willie was black and that he was married to my white sister. Now, I don't mind telling you. In fact, I'm glad that I can share with you because I struggled then and I still struggle with this situation. I don't quite know how to love when I think about how brutally my brother-in-law, because of his skin color, was beaten up. How asinine and how stupid. Willie, in 2011, had to quit working as a park guard because of the pain. He now doesn't ride a riding lawnmower. He can only drive about a mile in the car. He is in severe pain day after day, hour after hour, every day, every hour. The VA hospital can't seem to help him get rid of the pain. When my wife and I camped with my sister and brother-in-law last summer, 2 nights, he had to be taken to the VA hospital to be given something really strong to help take care of his pain. He's been literally almost immobilized by that beating because of a God-given gift of a black skin color and the fact that he's married to my sister. Well, I'm aware of the symptoms of the people who brutally beat Willie. Low self-esteem, the need to feel bigger and better than anyone else, fear of life itself, feeling of discouragement because of one's economic and social status, a warped sense of humanity, but to hate someone for something that God has given to each of us, skin color. To hate someone for a completely God-given gift is beyond my ability to understand. So what exactly is love in this instance? But now I find I had another problem. Of course I could show love and care and concern for my sister and brother-in-law, but how do I go about showing love for this father and son, these 2 men who attacked Willie? And or is there a way that I should be showing love to others who may also potentially be attacked in the future by these men simply because they don't like the color of somebody's skin? I don't mind telling you that even years after the beating, I feel a bit confused. At the time, I decided that these men should not be allowed to ever have the opportunity to harm others, even though I didn't know if they would ever hurt anybody else again. But I didn't want them to have the opportunity. So I helped my sister and brother-in-law with legal issues. Beating up someone because of the color of their skin is a federal hate crime. From the Martinsburg City Police to the state's district attorney to the FBI field office, I encouraged my sister and brother-in-law to press charges. Now tell me, how is that the way of Jesus? What exactly does it mean to love my enemies? How exactly do I do that? Do I owe future potential victims of these 2 guys anything at all? I also encouraged my sister and brother-in-law to use the NAACP Legal Division to help them with advice and legal help. These actions that I took were so far out of line with what I had been taught about Christian behavior that I went crazy inside myself. I wondered if I had only been taught and had only thought about and only understood half of what Jesus was saying. Maybe loving my enemy is actually doing something that stops him from harming other people. Maybe the most loving thing I can do for someone is to keep them from getting in more trouble. I'm really not sure. I do know that in helping my sister and brother-in-law seek legal recourse, I did not recommend that they sue. Making someone else miserable because they have made you miserable, or getting rich because someone has harmed you, are clearly to me not Christian acts. I've never understood how people who have been harmed feel so comfortable striking back and acting in the same stupid, negative, hurtful way that those who harmed them originally acted. As a Christian, I know that I'm not to strike back in similar ways to the hurt that has been given to me. Now, I can tell you that I don't feel a lot of love toward the two men who attacked Willie. I came to the conclusion that those persons who would willingly harm other people need to be stopped. I also believe that I, are showing love to our neighbors if we can keep them from being harmed from people who might do them harm. And you only have past behavior to pay attention to as you make that decision. I came to the conclusion, a conclusion that maybe was simply a rationalization, that I am loving people who tend to be violent, who have shown that they can be violent and are willing to use violence. I am loving those people if I can find a way to keep them from getting in more trouble. So what should loving one's enemies really mean? I doubt that the admonition to forgive 70 times 70 means that we forget what others do to us or allow ourselves to become victims. I think that forgiving and forgetting, something I was taught as a child, is the most stupid thing. You can't forget. Don't try. You need to remember and build on that and make sure that you don't get in the same kind of situation again, if at all possible. So one of the few things I would say that I know for myself, and I would say that this reality stands for each one of you in this ethics class. Don't ever allow yourself to have any easy answers to big questions that come upon you in life. Because after all the easy answers are batted away, you and I will learn that we've only been fooling ourselves. Now, what I want you to take out of this racism class today is to think about, are there any issues in your life as you look around you where you feel you would get involved to the point of using your voice, your body, your spirit to try and change things? I made the decision that the people who had attacked Willie and my sister Cheryl were violent. I decided that was bad. I decided, since they did not like African Americans or a mixed race couple, that they just might show that to other mixed race couples. So I helped my sister and brother-in-law press legal charges. Was that ethical? Was it Christian? You now have stories from 1963, the March on Washington, my playing organ at an inner-city African-American church. You have the story of my being arrested at the South African Embassy. And you have this story about my brother-in-law's beating and my response. I ask you to think about whether or not you treat all people, no matter their sexual orientation, their race, their ethnic group, their color, their hair color, their size of their body, whatever. Do you treat everybody with love, with care, with concern? And if you have those people who you feel have become your enemies, ask yourself, how is it that you learn to love them? See you next time.